we live in a way to where if something bad happens, it's not the end of the world. Good afternoon, beautiful people. It was a nice blustery day, so that's why I'm inside.
Sorry, I'm making noise.
It's okay, continue.
Got it.
Okay, there we go. Alright, so the nature of today's video is actually something that I have been wanting to do for a while, but I feel that the time is finally right. As we speak right now, there is a soon-to-be hurricane Ian on the way right now. It's supposed to make landfall, I think, like Wednesday or something like that. Tuesday, Wednesday.
In Florida.
In Florida. And judging by a lot of the models, like I've been watching it, judging by a lot of the models, it's headed our way. We are pretty far inland, so we would just get a lot of rain, maybe a little bit of wind. Everybody around here says, you know, yeah, you'll get rain and stuff like that. It's a dandy storm, but it's usually not like, you know, evacuation worthy. But that still doesn't mean we shouldn't be prepared. So I thought what you were doing today actually kind of goes along with
a little bit
all of this. So today I'm gonna, you guys will see, I'm gonna like go get gas and things like that, stuff for the generator, just generally stuff that, you know, would be nice to have in case of a power outage. Which, anytime the wind blows real good around here, the power goes out. That's just, when you live in an area with so many trees, that's just what happens. So
we've only had one good one that lasted for 4 days.
Yeah, it was actually out here. A tree fell down in the power line cut, dropped the power lines in our driveway. We had power lines down for a couple days. That was 2020, and it was a pretty good storm. It took out power all around town. Mm-hmm. Like it was pretty good. And so we were without power for 4 days. And even though I don't use our little generator we've got very often, it was nice to have. I'm very glad to have it. So stuff I'm doing today is basically getting ready. I'm gonna use the P word. We kind of prepare. We stay in a constant state of preparedness. We've been in situations before that are out of our control, that had we not been prepared, we would have been between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Because of our mindset of just be prepared for anything at all times.
Right.
We've come out of a lot of situations pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
This is actually the weekend project that has spilled over into Monday.
Yeah, well, because I had a bunch of tomatoes that I was dealing with on Saturday. Got the sauce almost all made, but then ran out of time to can it. And I try not to work on Sundays because that's my day to like chill.
Yep.
So this is the canning process of the tomato sauce. So I'm just getting that ready and put away, and that'll be future meals. And then today I'm going to be dealing with some milk that we have. My thought was, one, I needed to make room in the fridge anyways and use it up. But my thought was also this way, if the power does go out, I don't have just milk sitting in my fridge. I'm going to turn it into cheese, and that'll be a little more, I guess, less susceptible to spoilage.
Yeah, the milk is really the shortest shelf life item we have.
Right.
Everything else, I mean, as you guys know, we raise all of our own meat. So we do have a lot of it in the freezers. We are moving more towards a lot of dry cured meats, stuff that doesn't require refrigeration. And canned. Canned meat is actually surprisingly
handy.
Wonderful. It's so
really
handy.
Like that.
We call it fast food.
Yeah.
If you need a meal real quick, you can pull out a can or two of meat,
right,
pop them in a pan, maybe add some pasta or some potatoes, and you've got a whole meal.
Right.
So canned meat.
Yeah.
pretty handy.
It is.
So all of these ways of preserving, as you guys have seen, those of you who have been with us for a while, they're all things that
Right.
are very useful.
So if the power does go out, then we're covered.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I'm gonna go pull out the generator, get it fired up. I haven't turned it on in like months.
Yeah.
I make sure I leave fuel stabilizer and all of that stuff in it, but I still like to get it out and run it. You know, make sure it's working. Make sure it's working before you need it, rather than out there trying to, oh, I don't know, maybe get water out of your well. All things that we need to deal with.
Good on the checklist.
All right, so I'll leave you to doing all your stuff, and
Cool.
I'm gonna go fire that thing up.
All right. Good luck.
All right, it's not an incredibly big generator, but it's enough to power our well. You know, let it cycle on, we'll get the water we need and stuff like that. One of the things I'm gonna do today is, even though there is rain in the forecast, I'm gonna fill our IBC tote all the way up. That way we have water. All I really use that for is animal water. It's nice to have, you know, water catchment. We have this roof on this janky shed thing, and it's got rain gutters, so usually if we get an inch of rain, it will completely fill up this entire tote, plus some. Maybe here pretty quick, if I can find one, I'm gonna get a couple more IBC totes. I would like to stash them on various parts of the property and set up rain roofs and stuff like that, but that's probably a video for another day. All right, I'm gonna get reefing on this thing, see if I can get it started. Like I said, I haven't started it in a while. It's one of those things, I don't see it because it's just like tucked over here. This is where we stash all of our cardboard boxes. And so it's just been buried and I haven't thought about it. I'm gonna see if I can get it fired up. I hope you guys can hear me over here. Thing's pretty loud. I'm gonna let that run, make sure it's not having any problems. All right, I like to shut off the gas and wait until the thing shuts off. That way there's no gas left in the line. I don't have to worry about the carburetor getting all gummed up and stuff from having gas just sitting in there. So we ran it for 10-15 minutes. No problems, still works. I don't know why it would quit working just sitting out here for a few months, but still works. So I'm gonna put that back in there, and then I'm gonna grab all my gas cans and go get gas.
They both have these for them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I can go in the squat. All right, all loaded up. I'm gonna run to the gas station real quick. I'll pick back up when I get back.
Alrighty, tomato sauce is in the canner and it's going. One thing I didn't mention earlier was those are tomatoes actually from the freezer. So during the summer when they start ripening and I just don't want to deal with them, I slice them with peels and everything, put them in Ziploc bags and pop them in the freezer. And they stay in there until I'm ready to deal with them. It was time to deal with them because I was running out of freezer space. So I pulled everything out, got it all food milled and pureed, got the skins and the peels off, got it cooking down to thicken, and now they're in the canner. So now I have room in my freezer, and that's kind of along the lines of like not relying on the freezer for your food storage. I've gotten it cleared out, so that's one less thing I have to worry about if the power did go out. And one thing I do with the skins and the seeds once I run it through the food mill is I take them and I spread them out on a dehydrator tray on a piece of parchment and pop those in the dehydrator and then I run it for like 24 hours just until they're really good and dry, probably 125 degrees. And then I will grind these in my blender to make tomato powder later. I usually just like save up a whole bunch and then I do it all in one shot. So that gets me tomato powder later. It's a good seasoning. We put it on meat, or I can use it to thicken sauce later if I need to. And again, it's one less thing I don't have to worry about having in my freezer or fridge. It's just like dried in the pantry. While I'm waiting for the tomato sauce, that's taking up the space on the stove, so I can't do my cheese yet to deal with the milk, but I'm gonna make bread today. So one of the things that I do when I kind of feel like a power outage might be coming, it probably won't, but just in case, is I just make like our bread and things that are like quick, easy meals that I don't have to rely on the oven for, and I'll make extra of it. When we moved in, we installed propane, and for me, that was a big thing that I wanted to have, because at the very least, I can't run the oven because the oven runs off of an electric brain box, but I can at least cook still, so we can do stovetop meals and everything. But like I said, I can't run the oven, so I will get all of our bread made. I'll make muffins. I might make up some other stuff. We got a couple days until this thing is supposed to hit us. This really isn't any different than our normal day-to-day. It's just I'm gonna make a little bit extra than normal, just so if the power does happen to go out, then we're covered for a couple days. Kind of going along with what Ben had said earlier, we just live like this all the time, not in a state of fear or panic. This is just how we live our life. You know, we make our own stuff, we can our own food, we put things up in various different methods so that if something were to happen one way or another, we're covered and we're not like panicking at the last minute. So nothing really out of the ordinary for us. We're just doing a little bit extra to get ready for something that might or might not happen, and it's better to be prepared either way, right? If nothing else, if it doesn't happen, then we just have some extra food and I don't have to bake for a few extra days.
All right, all stocked up on fuel, and that's a nice feeling. I actually had a conversation with an older gentleman that was there who was also filling up gas cans. He said he doesn't think it's going to hit us. He says at the very most we'll get some rain, but it's a good idea to be prepared. Talked about a whole bunch of other things. It was one of those, he had his gas cans, I had mine, and he asked if that was why I was here, and I said yeah, and he said, I'd rather get it done now in case there's a rush. Yeah, doesn't hurt to be prepared. I know I'm not the only one. One more thing I can do while I'm eating some lunch. I'm gonna stick the hose in the IBC tote and get it filling up. I mean, there's probably, what do we got in there? Almost 100 gallons in there, but that goes fast, especially we have meat birds right now. They drink a lot of water. It goes fast, and if it's something we need water to flush toilets or something like that, that'll go fast.
Alrighty, now that the tomatoes are done processing, she just woke up from a nap, she's very tired. I'm getting my cheese ready. So if I was making a cultured cheese, I would not be doing this the same day I'm doing bread, because your yeast can contaminate your milk and then you get like all kinds of bad issues with contamination. But I'm just making a quick cheese today, so I'm not really worried about that. Oh, big yawns, oh, big yawns. So I'm just heating it up, getting it up to temp, and I've got citric acid in there to acidify it, and as it heats up, it's gonna like coagulate and stick together, and then we'll strain it, and we'll just have some quick cheese that'll last a little bit longer in the fridge than fresh milk would. Well, who am I kidding? In this house, both of them will disappear quickly, so it doesn't really matter. But at least this way we have some cheese and I have some room in the fridge, because cheese takes up way less space than gallons and gallons of milk. So just waiting on this. Bread's done, muffins are in the oven, just blueberry muffins, quick and easy. And the only other thing I'm working on today, or like this week, to get prepared for a possible power outage is I'm getting all of our laundry washed, because you don't really want to be dealing with a power outage with no clothes. The neighbors would probably look at us weird. So I'm getting everything washed that I need, getting the towels washed, like everything that just, all the little knick-knacky things that might need to be washed at some point, I'm just getting them washed now. So that in case the power does go out, we're fine and it's not a big deal. I think that's it for now. So we're good.
All right, so with everything that we've done, it's not actually a whole lot that we've had to go out of the way to do. You know, getting gas.
Right.
We've got propane. We've got plenty of propane. Probably our only weak spot is power. But we've got a generator, so like we're fine. We found workarounds.
Yeah.
You know, contrary to popular belief, you don't need a massive house and all the things to be happy. And when we were moving around the country living out of an RV, it really hammered that point home. We had everything we needed in 210 square feet, and we were happy.
Yeah.
Coming here, we live in, you know, what are we,
850,
850 square feet, and we're happy. We have everything we need. You know, it's not the house that really matters. You need a place to sleep and a place to get out of the weather.
Yep.
This checks those lists.
Yep, it does. That's
What's up there?
A carrot. I don't think
I
there's
don't
a
see a
carrot.
carrot.
You're good.
A hard nap.
Yep.
So all that to say, make your day-to-day be your prep. Live your life in a way to where you don't have to go out of your way to prep.
Yeah.
You're already living in a prepared state.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of how we live. We live in a way to where if something bad happens, it's not the end of the world. I think it was, 2 weeks ago? We had a storm and a tree fell on the power line and we had power lines down in our driveway.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big storm, so they fixed it that afternoon, but we were fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually in the middle of making bread.
Yep.
It was rising and I couldn't turn on the oven. So it was like, well, okay. I put it in the fridge for it to like slow down. And I was actually thinking, okay, well, we could set up some kind of solar oven if we had to, or I could probably rig a way to cook on the stove or whatever. You just like come up with those things ahead of time before you need it. So yeah, just live your life in a way that you don't have to like change things dramatically to stay comfortable.
Yep.
In an emergency situation.
Yep. All right, so I think this video has gone out early enough to where if you aren't aware and you live in the South, you're down by like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, that's the projected possible path. Maybe get some water, some toilet paper, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, important stuff.
Just, what's it gonna hurt if you have it and don't need it?
Right.
It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Exactly.
So, all right, that's gonna do it for us for today. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.